Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I figured before I got too far with this bed project, probably should show you guys how I actually did the hidden fuel filler behind the driver's side taillight assembly. So this video is going to get into that. I'm going to show you my take on how I did it, and this is only going to be part one of it. I'm just showing the filler itself. As far as the hinge mechanism for the taillight assembly, that'll be in a future video. So I'm just gonna get into it and show you guys what I've got going on here. So I put off installing and figuring out, modifying, fabricating my filler neck in the recess of that taillight assembly long enough. It's time to get started, show you guys how I'm gonna do it. The pocket started out looking like this. This is the factory pockets for the taillight assemblies and backup lights. Come over on this side, and you can see I've just zipped this out with a Sawzall, and now I'm gonna clean up all these edges, and then I'm gonna have to open up this side a little bit. I'm gonna have to make a little box piece that fits in here to where the filler cap will sit in there and mount at a 30 to 45 degree angle. You can see on the back side between the flush cap and here, there's your mounting holes to mount that, as well as this is an 1.5 inch diameter hose, which is exactly what I need to match up to my fuel tank. Here is the cap that I'm using, part number, reference, whatever, if you guys care, want to use it. That's where I got it from. And then on the back side of here, again, plan to drill a hole right here for the 1.5 inch pipe, which will be aluminum, come through an angle, drop down in here through the bed, and then it will come into the fuel tank underneath. And then over the top of here, I will box in, basically build in this and plate this in and build a cover that can be removed so you can access all this and take it apart if you want to, change the hose connections if you need to. I just want it all to be workable and easy to service. So now I'm gonna take my carbide bit, and I'm gonna grind this out, clean it up, and square up all these edges at least. I'm gonna bring this edge in and square it up with right here. I'm gonna bring this up to this line right here. Same with this. And this outside is kind of a question right now. I don't know how much I'm gonna open this up, because for this to fit in there enough, I'm probably gonna have to cut this part out a little bit too. Okay, I've got the hole roughed out, approximate size that I want to go, might go a little bit bigger. For this part, I use a carbide bit, and you definitely want to use rubber gloves or some kind of gloves when you're cutting this out, because trust me, all these metal shavings, they're like little metal splinters and they're not fun to get in your skin. We are very, very close to where I need to be with that. Just need to open that up just a little bit more, and there is just a little bit more room that I can go. Probably should just take that plastic off, but she's really close to fitting in there where I need it to be. Next, I'm gonna start working on making a template to box that in. So I went ahead and hit this with my carbide bit just a little bit more, and damn, it's almost like I planned it. That thing fits just almost exactly perfectly inside there. So maybe in the end, this won't be as hard as I worried about night after night after night. All right, so I've got this hidden fuel filler roughed in. As you can see here, I need to change the angle of it just a little bit. Start out, I just got a piece of cardboard. I make up a rough template, and this is 2 pieces. As you can see where the tape is right there, you got the top piece and this bottom piece. I bent a little tab at the bottom here so I can easily weld this on to this piece of metal. Put some tacks in here, as well as weld it along top here when I'm finished. And then I will weld this on the back side right here, so I get a nice clean edge up inside there. As you guys can see, I need to rotate it just a little bit this way and maybe move this over just a little bit so it clears here when it unscrews. And the main reason that I angled it like this so it kind of points in that direction is because this, where it's centered in here, is not centered right here on this back side. There is kind of a seam that goes down about a 1/2 inch inside here, and from that seam is this point right here. So in order to come out in a good spot right here, this needs to be angled a little bit in that direction. Because what I want to do is come out right here and then go through the bed in this general area and then cover this with a plate so it goes down to my filler. These X's mark where the outlet is from the fuel tank, so I need to come down to where I can make a nice bend radius into the fuel tank itself, if that makes any sense. So from this point right here, need to modify this just a little bit where it attaches here and the angle of this upper piece a little bit so I can twist that a little bit and get a better shot at going where I need it to, as well as move this over maybe a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch, just so when that screws out, it's not gonna hit right there and stop. Obviously, there's more than one way to do this type of a filler. This is the way that I'm gonna do it, just because in my mind, it seems like this is gonna work out the best for being able to install it, hook it up, and take it apart in the future if I need to, without too much effort. And the sheet metal thickness that I'm using for this is the same sheet metal thickness as the rest of the bed. And I'm just making this shit up as I go. This is the first time I've ever done a hidden fuel filler like this at all. I didn't really look up anywhere online how they did theirs, so this is kind of a first for me, and I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. I'm just documenting it for anyone that wants to follow my footsteps. Okay, so I got the two pieces of metal fitted and seems pretty good, so I went ahead and welded up the back side of that. And then this piece slides in right there. And now I just have to weld up down here and across the top right there. Try and get that to fit in a little bit better there, more like that. And then as you can see, I've also marked the holes where the cap mounts to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this back out. I'm gonna actually open this up just a little bit larger to the edge of these holes. Gonna drill these holes out. And then what I'm gonna do is actually weld the nuts on the back side of this panel. That way, when I go ahead and put it together, it'll be a lot easier. Just have to put the screws in from the front side. Don't have to worry about putting the nuts on the back side of that. And weld it in place. And this side will be done. And then I just have to cut the access for the tube that goes through the bed on the back side. So all in all, it's really not that complicated. I don't know if this is going to be the best cap to use or not, but that's what I got. All right, so I've got my blind nuts welded on the back of this. Everything threads in okay. Got it cleaned up where I'm gonna weld. Did 3 different spots in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and set this in for the final time and get this welded in place. Now we're gonna fast forward about an hour's worth of welding and bodywork, and this part, at least on this side, is all finished. As you can see, got it recessed in there, got a good angle to go down and hit my fuel tank. So that's how I ended up doing my hidden fuel filler. Future video will show you how I'm gonna hinge the taillight assembly, and it will be an LED taillight assembly because the factory one with the incandescent bulb just won't quite work and clear this because it's gotta have a good recess, so I'm gonna have to go with an LED style taillight assembly, but that's how I did this, and the hinged LED and the filler neck that goes down the tank will be in a future video. Sure, there's a dozen ways to do this, but this is the fastest, easiest, and cheapest way I have come up with on my own to do my own filler neck, or I should say fuel filler. So now, since this is finally done, I can finish sanding this baby down here and get this ready for paint. Plan on getting this done in the next, not this weekend, but the next weekend. At least the outside and the front of the bed painted, as well as the roll pan, and then inside the bed will be next, as well as got to do the underside too. And then hopefully this baby can be back on the C10 shortly, which would be good. Get the truck back together. So that is my take on how to do a 67 to 72 C10 fuel filler behind the rear taillight assembly. There's a lot of other ones on the market. This is the one that I did or was able to do as cheap as possible. And I still have to do the filler neck and stuff. So there's the filler neck that I have to worry about, but I'm gonna wait till the bed's back on the cab to mess with that. And then also the hinge mechanism for the light itself. So, well, that's it for this video. Till next time, we'll see you guys later.